Good morning, everybody, and welcome back. Or if you're new here, welcome to another edition of Kingly Conversations, man. And this week we got another hot one for you. But before we get into all of that, Zoe's got some shout outs.
Hello, listeners. This is your boy. You know what time it is. Shout out to Soulfire Clothing. And also shout out to Oh Lord. Check them out on the websites. They got stuff going on. You know what time it is. That's all I got.
All right, hey, this week we're getting into it about, is toxic masculinity a thing? So strap in. Let the kings talk about it. Hey, good people, welcome back and welcome to another edition of Kingly Conversations, man. And as I am every single week, you should be used to it by now, I'm Alan.
What up? It's your boy Twine, a.k.a. Han. Ask me about my podcast. You know what time it is.
Your friend, your mentor, Calvin D. Hill.
Yeah.
With his cup of coffee.
Fifth
I know.
cup of coffee.
He's like,
I'm not your business.
I'm surprised that man ain't over there shaking right now.
Your business.
It's all good.
It's got to digest first, man. You can't just be like, ooh, coffee, tuppy the tongue. Done.
Ugh. All right, get into the topic. What we talking about today,
Deliciousness.
So, I mean, apparently this is my topic, but I didn't remember that. I don't have any notes on it. So, but it is
Your name's
toxic masculinity a thing?
Okay.
So I don't know who wants to start us off on this because
No, it's your topic. I'm waiting for these.
it is
bullets.
my topic. You got a lot of bullet points.
All right. Well, first of all these. Let's move on. I ain't gonna do that. Let's start with what does masculinity mean? Let's start there. All right. So first of all, I did some research, and there was a whole bunch of words, and I'm like, yo, this is a bunch of nonsense because it just put together. Well, it could mean interchangeable with other words like manhood or what is this other word? Manliness. So it really didn't give a solid definition of what masculinity means.
You know why?
Why is that?
Because masculinity is based on culture, and every culture has a different version of masculinity.
Okay.
If you go to Thailand, masculinity in Thailand is different than masculinity here. If you go to Germany, because here, so I'm gonna use Germany as an example. So most men here would not be caught dead sitting down to urinate, because here they would see that as a feminine trait.
Okay, so let's get into.
But it is not uncommon in Germany to do that.
I'm glad you said feminine. So now we got to get into femininity.
I mean, we ain't got to get into nothing.
I'm just saying, if we making a comparison, like if
Well, the only way-
what isn't masculine is feminine.
The only way that's the only way you can determine it. But the other thing about it is, who told you what was masculine in the first place?
I'm glad you asked that, Cal.
Who told you what was masculine and what was feminine in the first place?
So, who taught you what masculinity was?
Other men,
Huh. Interesting.
or at least what society would have seen as men.
I wouldn't say it was taught to me, but I observed.
Yeah, that's how it was taught to you.
Okay,
It was taught
all
by
right.
observation.
Observation.
Okay, so what makes it toxic? This is my issue with it. This is my problem. This is where I'm at with the whole toxic masculinity thing.
I'm listening.
What makes my manliness toxic?
I don't think it's
No, because
question
that's
is,
that's
what
the
makes it
assumption.
toxic?
That's the assumption in our culture now.
That's perspective from where judgment is coming from.
Right.
It's just judgment.
So where is it coming from? Who's saying your manly behavior is a negative trait? Who's saying that?
I don't know.
The rest of society.
And why are they saying that?
So they can get you to tone down your masculinity? Is that what you're saying? Is that what you're trying to say?
I'm just asking.
I don't know what he's trying to say. I mean,
I'm just asking a question because.
Well, here's the problem. Where is that line then? Because most people would say if you were arching your back and following through on other people, meaning you were backhanding people to the face, you were Bernie Macking them down the subway train. Most people would consider that toxic behavior.
Okay, but that doesn't make you masculine.
But it doesn't. But guess who it is most commonly associated with?
That's a misconception because slapping people is just violence. You're just being violent.
No, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about beating down the opposite sex because you can.
Okay, now is that a masculine trait or is that a trait of abuse?
Anybody can beat people down.
Okay.
However, society has told people that's what you must do to be accepted. Not now.
What?
Oh, please believe. I know more than a few grandparents, I guess, grandparents and great-grandparents at this point, that were just expected to deal with it because that was what being a man was about.
And I was never taught that as a man.
I'm not saying
I was never taught that in my culture.
I'm saying I observed that. I wasn't taught that. I was taught the opposite because I had at least one parent who had to kick one of his parents out the house because of it.
And I understand that. But my thing is other people's culture is being made to seem negative because I was never raised with a negative connotation to masculinity.
Right.
Everything masculine for me was about protection.
So what was
about
masculine?
being assertive, about being responsible and accountable. Those were the masculine traits that I was raised with, that I had no obligation to be called a man. You had to be one, responsible. You had to be two, accountable. So for me, masculine traits center around those two.
Dominance.
If you're in charge, yes, you're dominant of your area and your space. That doesn't give you dominion over another person. See, that's what I'm saying. I wasn't taught.
What?
Yeah.
So then what you're saying is
yes,
you can't see what other people were taught.
No. I can see it clearly. I'm telling y'all, I'm not going to let other people's culture define my definitions of what masculine is, what toxic is, because I know more toxic individuals who are not masculine.
What are they?
They're feminine.
Okay.
And I know they're toxic. And I have more dealings with that than I do toxic men. So I'm not going to let other people.
No. Let's not do that. Now, I understand what you're saying. So now we're saying that men are toxic, females are toxic. That's what I'm hearing you say. Because you're trying to make a separation.
I'm telling you, in my experience, I have dealt with more toxic women than I have dealt with more toxic men. And we're using a definition of masculinity or toxic masculinity, and we're covering a blank slate around all men. Negative. I'm not letting that happen because
you're kind of doing the same thing if you say
I just
more
said
women.
I dealt with. That doesn't mean I deal with all women. So I'm saying
I don't deal with toxic people in general.
I don't have the same definitions of what masculine mean because most people take masculine as a physical aggression, be dominant. I wasn't taught it that way.
The word toxic, when you add it to either masculinity or femininity, it's a problem for me because now those characteristics, those traits as somebody that's masculine, those traits that somebody is on the as far as more feminine. Why does that have to be a title or adjective on top of that to make it?
Because I just took the same way everybody takes toxic masculine and I just flipped it.
Exactly.
I just changed the word.
Yeah.
And the same way everybody say, oh no, women ain't no. okay, pay attention, because everybody want to say men are toxic, and I can say women are toxic. Is it true? Absolutely not.
Then we gonna be outside on the fence with picket fence
That's my
signs
point.
on each side.
That's
saying
what,
you
that's
toxic,
my
I'm
point.
toxic, blah blah blah.
Well,
but that's why I'm saying people need to be accountable and responsible for your own self and for your own. And stop letting people label you because you are a man or you are a woman or whatever else you want to label people. Man, get out of here with all that. Y'all can keep it.
That's the problem with everything being subjective anyway, because it's my view on masculinity or femininity is based on my own personal views. Because there are certainly people that would say that if you clean your house at all, that ain't masculine.
I did.
I
did see some articles
again cultures, man,
and that to me that's just outrageous. I'm like, so you want to live in a dirty house? I'm like,
cultures make a huge difference to me because I was never taught any of that. I understand that,
but so then the question is, where would that idea have even come from?
Boy,
where would that idea have come? Because if you look at cultures around the world, the vast majority of them, cleanliness is next to godliness, right?
Right.
So where did that come from? That it's okay to just be out here as a slob and somebody else going to take care of me?
That's a great question. I have another question. Hey, Calvin, did you know that they labeled low empathy
He got to read
as toxic masculinity?
As toxic masculinity.
Good. I'm glad you did. Because I'm so glad you did. You know why?
Why is that?
Because I don't care. I'm so glad y'all did.
I'm saying, like all these labels that I've been reading through different resources and different platforms, they all have the same.
So why couldn't it just be low empathy is a trait of either being hurt or abused? Why does it have to be attached to masculinity?
I need to where's this science, this research? Like,
yeah, we gotta find that because but again, just like you said, did you know that that's a sign of toxic masculinity? Okay, did you know that's actually a sign of abuse or hurt? Why are you attaching it to being masculine? Why are you trying to play this card of, oh, this is a behavior we don't like, so we're going to put it on men, or we're going to put it on being masculine? Okay, I could take it the same way and say, oh, that's a trait of a female.
I mean,
I could do that.
People are doing
and I will be right.
People are
because no, look. I know a lot of hurt women with low empathy. Don't care nothing about you. Don't care if you ain't got no money. You ain't got no car. No
these people?
What have you done for me lately?
What have you done? None of the same people you found.
Are these people at the church? Because where are these people hanging out at?
Same people you found that said toxic masculinity are the same people.
I didn't find nobody. I didn't find anybody. It just popped in my brain.
Right. So
our society.
Okay. So with
this is why
the church being brought up, huh?
Okay.
How?
Oh yes.
How has masculinity been shown in the Bible, and what has it taught us how to be men in the Bible?
Boy, I'm so glad you asked me that. Ooh, I'm so glad
because there are some scriptures in there that show some things that as a man you should do, and there's things that as a man you should not do.
And I guarantee you don't see it in 80% of your churches outside of your pastor. So I wonder why.
Probably don't.
No. See y'all come. Y'all
probably don't see it.
Why your churches in America filled with more women than men? So who's dictating to who's masculine?
Okay.
Because last time I checked, majority always
no. Okay, I understand what you're saying.
No, majority.
So you're going in the church.
Let's go back to Let's go back to my original question.
Majority don't rule.
I wasn't talking about the church. I was talking about the people. I'm talking about scripture wise.
Scripture wise, that's
true. Ready? Oh wait, you ready?
Yeah.
That's why he had to make sure he had all this coffee.
Yeah, because scripture wise, you look at it again. It doesn't state anything about being dominant over another person. And most people misunderstand or misinterpret that whole woman, why be submissive to your husband, because it turns right around and tells the husband to be submissive to his wife.
But no, you can't do that. You got to cherry pick. You got to cherry pick.
See, this is why I don't get into church and Bible stuff,
gotta
because
cherry pick,
don't
man.
nobody,
I'm listening.
don't nobody want to go all the way. They want to say,
nope.
you better do what I say.
You got to cherry pick.
Don't take the accountability part to what I said.
In the beginning.
In the beginning, I cherry pick.
No, well, all right.
There is not a comma in this piece of text right here.
Stay out of the book.
There's not a comma right here. It was a period right in the middle of a sentence.
Y'all stay out of there.
Period.
I'm all up in there. Like,
No, because I'm telling people, stay out of there, because when God made man, that was a question somebody asked the other day.
I'm listening.
But he said, I made man as in mankind, but then he said, I made them male and female. I distinctly made two different type of men.
Distinctly.
Yeah.
Two different type of men?
Man.
I'm listening.
Mankind. One man and man.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, see, people want to twist and turn in a way.
man.
No.
It's-
Because y'all in there,
You
but
just
y'all don't
opened
want
the
to
door.
go.
You just opened the
I
door.
sure did. I kicked it open.
So now we can say that man.
Nope.
So a woman can be a man.
Womb man.
Man,
Womb.
still a human.
Okay.
A woman is a human every day of the week.
I mean,
I don't care where you go. A man is a human every day of the week.
Okay.
You have two different types of human on the earth. Nowadays, you got
Can you
40
pick and
million different types of human, because you can cut something off, you can add something on to it. Do what you want to do nowadays.
I don't know
So-
that it's just nowadays. That's been
Wait,
going
that's
on
been-
for
all right, we're
a very
veering
long
off
time.
topic.
Hey.
We're veering off topic. Bring it back
Been
in.
going on for a very long time.
We're reeling man.
If we want to be, unless we just going to discount history altogether.
Really?
Been going on for a very long time. Very long
You
time.
can do everything you want. So nowadays, free game.
Hey, just make sure you're not spilling your seed on the ground.
Oh my God.
And what is that referring to? Okay, see,
No,
you about to get
cherry
on?
picking. You got to be cherry picking.
What is it referring to?
Cherry picking.
I don't know. I'm not familiar with the
Let's
scripture,
move
so I'm
on.
not
Let's
going to get into it.
Let's move on.
not
I
gonna
know
get
exactly
into
what
it.
to get into. I know exactly what to get into.
So I got a question for y'all. In regards of masculinity, what does it mean to y'all to man up? What does that mean to y'all?
You know what it means to me?
What's up?
Absolutely nothing.
Gotcha.
It just means, because my thing is, I feel like you should be standing. You should be taking care of business every day, and that's about all you got.
I like that.
But
But that's not, to me. That's not
so-
masculine or feminine. That is,
Exactly.
you should be taking care of business as a person walking on this earth. You got to take care of the stuff you got to take care
But
of.
that's a colloquialism. That's just a saying, a man up. But now, again, yeah, it's nice.
Normally, it comes with a punch in the chest.
But no, man
No,
up
I've seen-
again.
I will say,
only thing.
I've seen
okay,
it.
all right,
I know
so-
you. I know it may not have happened to you,
So
but
I don't-
I've been.
as
It's been
personally,
a burst of people out there.
personally, I don't think
Abusive
that
is the word. I'd like to say
man.
burst.
The word "man up." I know what it entails. I know what it suggests. However, I've been doing this for a minute. So as far as my observation of what a man's supposed to do, make sure the house is good, make sure the family's good. What else?
Is
That's
there
pretty much
a
it.
word floating around that you can use to describe that?
Responsibility.
Oh,
That's what I'm saying. That's for me. It's just taking.
so being
but
responsible
see,
and being accountable must be attached to something.
a human.
No, a human.
A human.
Oh, so why
A
are you
human.
now? See, now
A
I'm play,
human.
no.
So
Now I'm gonna
it's
play the
no-
devil advocate. Now I'm
I'm
gonna flip the
listening.
script and
I'm
throw
listening.
y'all another pond right here.
Okay.
A real shallow one, real empty. Why is that? watch. Oh no, because y'all talk about toxic masculinity, so I'm gonna feed the toxic.
I don't know where this y'all came from.
Well, this is the topic.
Come on.
So now, man up, right?
Yeah. Okay.
Why is that accountability and responsibility attached to a man? Why is he the assumed one that has to do that? Why not the woman? Why not say woman up?
I mean, you can say that, but that's not common.
That's not the colloquialism.
They do.
That's not the saying.
They do.
Okay.
They do say it, but
so
I mean,
so how common is it compared
they ain't
to
gonna say it
man
to
up?
you. They gonna say it to each other. But they're not gonna say it to you.
Woman up.
Yeah, you ain't gonna. You're not gonna walk up to them and say woman up. That's because they would say that.
But why in our society is that
Just
a
to
thing?
do it. Huh?
Why in our society is that a thing to say man up? Like you said.
Yeah.
If it's followed up. It's followed up with a punch in the chest or
Hey,
some kind of.
don't cry.
Yeah.
Because you
suck it up, buttercup.
because you were supposed to be.
Why is that a
because
tag?
you were supposed to be tough.
That's what it is. You're supposed to be tough.
And you know why you're supposed
As
to
a
be
man?
tough?
You're supposed to to fight.
Why is a man fighting? This is interesting.
You know. Oh, you know what?
We've
You know
been
what?
fighting all our life.
Lord.
Why isn't fighting? We got this movie, great movie, excellent movie.
What's the name of the movie?
Woman King.
Oh, I
Women
ain't seen
can fight. Let the women fight.
Well, and in societies they
Culture.
have.
They're in their culture.
It's
Right.
just in their, it's exactly.
In their culture.
Right.
That's
so
what they did.
why don't we move that culture over here? Why don't we bring that?
Because ask your founding fathers.
I
No,
ain't
no, no,
even-
no,
I
no,
ain't
no,
even-
come on, follow me.
No,
Follow me.
I'm following you. But see, the culture is different over here.
Let's-
Matter of fact, who
Ask-
created the stipulations of what we are
Right.
and what we do in America anyway?
So let's start
So go
the-
talk
let's
to
start
your
the move.
So you asking me a question. I'm answering you. Your founding fathers created that.
My fathers ain't great that.
Where was you born?
Not my president. He ain't my president.
It's been founded on dominance. It's been founded on violence. It's been founded on the whole idea of being.
I mean, that's true. You can't found a culture on violence and not expect to have violent people.
So to answer your question,
So
the people who founded this country
now,
is responsible for the picture, the
here's an
perspective
odd
of
question
what a man is.
because I don't know.
in this culture.
Were these black men that founded this country?
So now you're being petty.
No. I'm just
You're
asking.
being
No,
redundant 'cause you already know ain't no black
because, no.
No.
So I'm gonna ask something because I'm coming right back around.
Okay, I'm
to
listening.
this.
So
toxic
no,
masculinity.
so that is correct. That
No, it wasn't black men.
the Europeans founded the country. Primarily Dutch and British people founded the country there.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so what's the next question? What's the follow up?
At least initially.
Initially,
do they still kind of hold the leadership or reins of this country?
They do.
yeah, I would say I would.
For the last 400 years.
That's interesting. So could I say that they kind of dictate or lead
They have.
the influence of the nation?
that goes back to what we said originally. It's what we observed, or what people have observed and modeled and followed. X, Y,
So we
Z.
have modeled
correct,
and followed
correct.
this toxic masculinity from the people that built this country.
There you go.
Didn't I say there's something like this in the beginning of the thing? That sounds familiar.
That sounds real familiar. It's interesting.
yeah.
But you gonna model what you see.
Model what you see.
So
And since you didn't have, because at the time that, well, maybe not your ancestors, but I know mine. At the time that your ancestors, the family unit would have been stripped away, so you didn't even have the opportunity
To understand.
to understand what norms were in your culture, because there was no culture anymore, except in some places.
so
like
the cultures were redefined.
cultures were
In
obliterated.
some people's culture, because other people's
Obliterated.
culture who founded the nation or whatever's culture still exists.
It does.
Okay, but they told you your culture is wrong.
Well, because they told you assimilate or die.
They told you that you weren't even human.
Yes.
Oh,
You were not human.
So
treating other people as not human is
I
okay.
wonder what they tell me my masculinity is toxic.
What? Say that again in different words.
Could you repeat the question, please?
I said, I wonder what they tell me my masculinity is toxic.
Oh, they would not tell you any form of masculinity is. I mean, look at Jordan Peterson. He ain't telling nobody masculinity is toxic.
It's okay when they do it, but it's not okay when we do it. Is that what
Huh?
you're saying?
I wonder.
Is
No,
that
I'm
what
just
you're saying?
wondering. I'm just asking questions. I'm wondering.
Just asking questions.
Yes, because
No.
So
I wonder why in black communities, like you said, black families are stripped, dismantled. But in other people's culture in this country, theirs are kept together.
by design,
It's by design. I wonder if there are any other blueprint, letters, or anything that tells you the same thing is happening now. The same thing that was implemented 400 years ago is still being processed all over, different tactics. I wonder, could it be? I'm just saying. Church quiet now? Where my church music?
No, so that's a great question because now I ponder. I think we already answered this question. It's like, who determined the way I think is toxic?
What was one of the main ways to destroy a black male during the 400? His favorite time of year.
ain't my favorite time of year.
Favorite
Why you say
era or whatever to talk about.
Why would that be my favorite era?
What happened? How did you break down the family? What was one of the main keys? And it had to do something with that man.
Well, you know, they had buck breaking.
Yeah, they had the brutality, the
It
violence.
wasn't just brutality. It was buck breaking. That's a whole different thing.
Butt breaking, same thing with the mind.
You was getting sodomized and everything while people had to watch.
Same things
So that they
happening
could
there
show you
with
who
the
was in
mind.
control.
So I'm gonna move on because it's toxic masculinity. Move on.
You know, it's one of the things. No, we ain't moving on.
Don't worry about it. You can't follow. Don't worry about
It's
it.
one of the things that.
No, it's not.
And this is. Oh, why did I stop recording? Oh Lord. But no, don't worry about it.
Okay.
We'll get it on next episode. We got what we got. Yep. But I think that's always the problem is what ends up happening because it was people do things to other people that was done to them because for some reason nobody stops to think, is this something that we should be doing at all in the first place? And the only reason I think about it is because, you know, a lot of people beat their children.
Why do they beat the children?
Because they were beat as children. And this is the only form of discipline that I know how to inflict on another person.
Sense of control that you.
That's it.
Yeah.
And so at some point, though, somebody has to have enough mental capacity or thought or something to say, hey, is there another way where I can be just as effective without leaving this other person black and blue?
Culture.
I get that, but my thing is, at some point, somebody's got to do something different. At some point, somebody somewhere's got to do something different.
Well, people say if you're not shown different, you don't know different. And a lot of people have not been shown a better way to raise, to train their children, to teach them. Because, like you said, they won't educate themselves in early child development. That's a big part. So
they just beat them, and then the next generation beats them, and then the next generation beats them.
And I wonder how long that happened.
For 400 years.
And I wonder where it came from.
Because you got buck broke. So you felt like you had to break other people.
That's toxic masculinity.
But I mean, hey, listen, I said it was taught from the beginning. Like masculinity, period, is taught. Everything a child starts out. I was looking up some not for this, for something else, and I was looking up like a child is a blank slate. They only have two fears.
That's a good book, by the way.
You're only born with two fears: the fear of loud noises and the fear of falling. That's it.
Blank slate.
Gotcha.
So everything that this person is, somebody else taught them, or you can say they learned it from somewhere. And a lot of those early years you learn by observation.
All right, so since we just wore out toxic masculinity, give some constructive alternatives to this toxic masculinity. For one, give an example of what a toxic behavior for men, and give an example of how to change that. Because I'm all about solutions. I ain't about complaining about Same old, same old. So give a solution. Give a toxic behavior that men are associated with, and then give a solution to the.
Well, let's start with teaching the men, the younger men, that a man is not supposed to be clean. He's not supposed to do his chores. He's not supposed to clean.
Hey, listen, is that a real? Is that
no?
I've never heard.
Is real.
No, it's not.
It's whole dudes out here not washing their behind because it's gay to wash your butt.
Stop it.
And I'm like, or your butt itch all the time.
Stop it. I ain't never heard that.
Man, listen.
I ain't never.
It is some
you told me
crazy stuff going on.
If you won,
listen. If you don't want to be toxic, use a wash rag.
Go ahead.
Use a wash rag or a loofah, and that'll help with some of your toxicity.
Solution,
because your butt is toxic.
Solution. Go ahead for a solution for that.
Whoever made up that
it ain't made up.
Give a solution.
There's whole groups of people out here saying that if you run anything in between your cheeks at all, it's gay.
Okay, well,
and I'm just like, well, how are you clean at all?
I never heard that. Okay, but go ahead.
Do boys play with dolls?
What kind of dolls? Girl dolls.
Why's it gotta be girl dolls?
Because it is.
So, all right, we got that's the solution for that. That's the solution for that. Like, I'm giving you examples.
All right. So,
here's the problem.
You're talking about like Barbie dolls. What do you mean boys don't cry? See, this is the kind of stuff.
This is the toxic masculinity that they're putting in categories of how how a person would think.
Yeah,
that's what you're asking.
I understand what you're saying. Okay. So, if you don't cry, you're foolish.
Okay.
That's why you cry. You have to relieve or express. Yes.
I'm listening. No, I have another one.
I'm
reading this.
Okay. All right. So for young men, yes, you're supposed to cry.
You don't need
That's why you have
emotions.
tears.
That's why you got emotions.
That's why you have them. You have to use them. You have to use them properly. If you don't, you will mess up your body.
Okay.
And your mental health.
So are guys supposed to be sensitive?
As far as, give me a better. Go into that a little bit.
As far as expressing emotionally, yes.
Yes, that's why you have emotions, to express them.
I'm saying some men in the masculinity and what they
don't
think
express emotion.
What it is, they're like, yo, you're too sensitive. Toughen up. You can do it.
Now
say it in
such a fashion.
Yeah, I get what he's saying. So
pick yourself up.
I always say it this way,
Bucko.
In your environment, based on what environment you're in.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes for survival, for example, the Marine Corps in the 80s, 90s, 2000s. If you were very sensitive, more than likely you wouldn't be there too long. That's not for you. So having said that, toughen up and those kind of expressions would fly in that environment.
Gotcha.
That don't fly in raising kids to me.
Mm-hmm. So you got another one, Alan?
No, I was just thinking that there's always, for everything, there's always a time and place. There's a time and place for every emotion. One of the things I remember that I don't even know is correct today, but one of the things Jim Rohn said is that you should be trying to educate your emotions, and it's okay to throw yourself on the floor and have a tantrum at 3, but it might not be okay at
33. Right.
Are there such thing as gender roles?
In the society you live in, there always are going to be.
There is. To answer your question, yes.
Yeah, there are. In the society you live in, there will be. Now, that's going to change based on the society you live in. Here's the thing. This was always weird to me, right? This is it has to do with gender roles because we always, gender roles for forever had been that women should be doing the household chores, right? The cooking and the cleaning. I know you weren't taught that, but I wasn't either. My mother was an Army officer, so it was a different situation. But a lot of people were taught that women should be doing all the cooking and the cleaning. The issue I have with that is that why don't more women own restaurants then? If they supposed to be the people cooking, you got all these dudes owning restaurants, and they ain't supposed to be the ones knowing how to cook.
Do you want to know why?
Because Zoe said so.
No. Let's go back to the whole man being over a woman and things of that nature. So maybe, possibly, I'm just asking like for the women who.
Yeah.
Let's just move on.
Now it's changing today, but I mean, if you think about
Why can somebody please inform me on why cooking and cleaning
I don't know,
is associated with what women being feminine?
You-
Why is that?
you know why?
Is that? Am I saying that right?
You know why?
Why?
You are.
So the best thing I've got, and obviously I'm no anthropologist or historian, but the best thing I've got is that is probably what happened when we were hunter gatherers. In general, the men would go out and hunt,
and then
bring it back, and they would, and while the men were cleaning up from the day's hunt or whatever, the women would clean the animals and get them ready to be prepared. Because you were preparing stuff for an entire village at the time.
Well, of course you didn't grow up in that time frame.
Well,
so
no,
we have
just
modernized-
even
So,
growing up, I never saw like as far as keeping the house clean and cooking. My dad did that.
I mean,
And if you didn't keep the house clean, you got problems on your hands.
Okay, I'm glad you said that.
hey,
So
happy
did
birthday!
you see?
Happy birthday to Calvin's dad. Also,
Hey, happy birthday
we're not gonna,
to you.
We're not going to name him because he might not want to be named on the podcast.
Yeah, let's move on.
Happy
He don't.
birthday.
So-
He don't.
So listen, so with you seeing that as a child, being raised by a man like that, did you see him more feminine or more masculine, or did that even affect your judgment?
It didn't,
in that?
because that wasn't the roles, or that wasn't defined.
That
a
wasn't
man.
under
No,
the
that
gender. It wasn't defined.
It wasn't
at all.
based. It was
so he
based
broke
on
all the barriers of gender role.
It was based on keep your body and your house clean. That was what it
Wash.
was based on. It ain't got nothing to
Wash.
do with no gender.
No, it
Keep
don't.
you and what you got together, boy. Look,
Yeah.
that's what my dad like.
Little boy,
wore
you shouldn't be
us out.
stinking. Go take a shower.
Right, your booty itch. Like you said, your booty itch. Wash it. Your booty itch.
If your
wash
booty
it.
itch is too late, you should
Wash
take a
it.
shower some
It's
hours
sad.
ago.
There are grown
Listen,
men.
no, I
walking
don't
around
care.
here with dingleberries, man.
Jeez,
Come on.
Listen, I don't care.
All right,
That
let's move
has
on.
nothing to do with gender.
It should not. No.
The things that had to do with gender were more ingrained of, okay, if somebody breaks into the house, I'm the man. I have to protect my house.
All right.
As
I got one
a
last one.
man, I have to be responsible
One last one.
for the things that
One
are.
last one.
This was the kicker, and this is what changed everything. Whatever has my name,
You're responsible
I'm
for.
responsible for.
Yeah. So that
If
can go
it
either
doesn't
way.
have my name, I'm not responsible for it. Let me say that again for the listeners, especially the listener named Caleb. If it doesn't have your name on it, you are not responsible for it. So leave it where it's at.
We got direct diss tracks.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, I don't
All right,
care.
So listen,
I'm like
listen,
that.
listen. Back.
don't need
We're
to
still on
listen to the
topic,
podcast.
but listen.
Yes.
When it comes
You don't
to,
need to listen to the
I believe it's called homophobic.
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 Yeah, homophobic.
Okay, so
Okay.
and
Oh, that's
when it comes to masculinity, personally, I don't see myself as being feminine. I don't see myself as being masculine. I just see myself being me. But that because I don't care what nobody says and what they define. So I don't have a problem. So
I put
I don't
this shoulder up.
and I put this shoulder up.
And I drop it because I don't care.
So I don't have
right.
an issue with the alphabet. I don't want.
Okay.
I'm gonna say it wrong, so I don't want to say it.
Okay.
But the lesbian or being gay, things of that nature, I don't have a problem with none of that.
Right.
It doesn't affect me when I see it. It doesn't bother me when they're around. I don't have that problem. So
Right.
But going back to the topic, being masculine, they have that fear. They have that stipulation
And
when it
I
comes
will
to it.
again say
I'm listening.
that is a misconception because my masculinity has nothing to do with your sexuality.
Okay.
Zero. What your choices in life has nothing to do with
I
me.
mean that should be that you.
So
are,
how are people attaching me being masculine with homophobic or whatever phobia you want to put out there? It has nothing to do with that.
I agree that it should not have anything to do with it.
It should not.
It doesn't. People
But-
are attaching to it. They are just throwing stuff to
Attacking.
it. No, masculinity has nothing to do with homophobia.
So-
it has zero to do with it.
So would y'all say masculinity has been attacked or being attacked?
I say 100% it has.
Okay. I mean,
I'm not against it. I'm glad you did. I'm so glad y'all did.
because the way I think,
I mean-
but see, okay,
I would say that in especially in today's time where everybody does have a voice, I think that what has happened to everyone is everybody's being held accountable for everything.
Nah,
you don't think so?
No.
Okay, now
No.
you just okay, whatever.
no, not gonna fly. They are not being held accountable because they just letting everybody do what they want to do.
Let it fly, baby.
Yeah, and
Let
it
it
ain't
fly.
accountability. It's everybody got a stage and a platform, and they can say and do what they want to say, and they're not being held accountable for it.
So
And
how
it's
would you
not
hold them
truth and it's-
accountable?
You don't. You let them be.
Some people are not being held accountable.
You don't.
There are a few. There are being held
Hey,
accountable.
look, let people do what they do.
I mean, some people have gotten arrested for human trafficking.
Yeah.
Boy, almost got us killed.
Okay. There it is, guys. That's yeah. So I mean, what was the question? Repeat the question.
What was the question? Go ahead.
What was the question?
You were asking questions about
Okay,
homophobia.
so yeah, and masculinity being attacked, and how it's looked at as negative now.
Yes.
That if you think as a man that hey, maybe I should be the breadwinner, you're toxic. Or hey, I don't want my son doing certain
Man,
things.
look,
Hey, man, you're toxic.
And this is what I was trying to clarify at the beginning of the show. It's not the perceptions of what you believe should be.
Mm-hmm.
What makes masculinity toxic is the behavior that follows.
Mm.
You wanting to provide for your family isn't a negative trait.
I don't
It's
think
the
it is.
fact that when you dominate to the point or you disagree to the point you cause a division in your house, that's when it becomes a toxic behavior. That's the difference. Just because you're masculine doesn't mean you're toxic. It's when your masculinity tries to force other people to do what you think should be. And nobody has to do that.
Whoa. So now we getting back to the people who are making this judgment, trying to force their way of thinking on the
Yes,
people
that's the toxic
masculine.
behavior.
That's
The
just
toxic behavior is when I force my perspective,
So
my
it
point
ain't
of view.
masculinity.
It's not masculinity. It's when I force my will on you.
That's what it
when I
is.
force my way on you. When I dictate to you, this is how it should be.
This is
That's
how it's
when
gonna
it
be.
becomes. Yes, it has nothing to do with my masculinity or my feeling accountable or responsibility or protective. It
like
has
it.
zero to do with it.
I like it. I'm glad we got to the bottom of it. It ain't the masculinity. It's that toxic behavior of trying to force your will on somebody else.
Because I know plenty of women who would love a strong man in the house. And I said it. Say it again.
Say it again for the people in the back.
I know plenty of women that would love a strong man in their house.
How they gonna be strong if they ain't
there's
going to
a lot
the
of
gym?
men out there that would like a strong
Woman in
the
their house.
So it goes either
100%.
way.
How they gonna be
Right.
strong if they ain't going to the gym?
Get your weight up. Wrap it up, B. Cue the
Wrap it
music.
up, B.
Cue the music.
I just got questions, you know. I just
Oh,
got
yeah.
questions. All right, wrapping it up.
All right. Any closing thoughts? I got a closing thought. I'm gonna just end with the same thing we just finished talking about. It's not toxic masculinity. The toxic behavior comes from you trying to dictate to me what I am supposed to do and how I'm supposed to do things. No, don't know. You keep it over there, partner, and I'm gonna keep your minds rolling over here. I don't mind being masculine.
Where's this tea coming from?
What T?
Masculine. What is that?
Masculinity.
Is it masculine?
We're
We're gonna get that on a shirt.
All right.
Masculine. It sounds expensive. Like, you know, I bought this because it was masculine.
I don't even know how to spell it. I just know it's expensive.
Man, keep doing what you're doing. Don't listen to them.
Hey, listen.
They don't know what he's talking about.
You right. Don't none of us know what we talking about. Look, we all amateurs over here.
Facts.
Nobody got
Still
any.
learning.
I've
Still
been a
growing.
man for 40 years.
I've been a man for 42 of them.
I've been a man. None of your gosh daggone business. Let's move on.
Hey.
I was born in 1934.
Love y'all.
I'm a vampire.
Thank you to the listeners. Thank you for following. Thank you for listening.
So the only thing, let me say just listen, just be good people, man. Just be good humans.
Humans.
Masculine or feminine, who cares?
Who cares?
Just be good people.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you might find yourself getting the Bernie Mac backhand.
Be a man. Hey, man, I got this demo.
We'll see y'all next week.
Yeah.